Hi everyone. In this video, we will discuss about social media protest. This is very important topic, and this has been asked even in CAC 2023 in a way that how it is changing the whole discourse. And with the ongoing protest of various kinds, whether it was a pharma movements or whether it was a movement or protesting against the heinous crime that happened, the incidents that happened in Kolkata, many of such social media protests, or whether it was All Eyes on ORN, various kinds of protests are increasing on social media. So we can expect a question on this, and thus we need to understand it deeply. If there is a question of 20 marks, we need to understand things in a very efficient manner. So let's start the lecture. Now in 21st century, this is the age of social media, no doubt about it. And social media is playing a role everywhere. And thus, it is also playing a role in showing dissent because everything, whether you are celebrating festivals, whether you are trying to have a get together, whether you are trying to have to showcase patriotism, or celebrating your favorite team win. Everything is happening on social media. So the dissenting voice or raising voice against government or something wrong which is impacting the general people's interest, all these things happen in social media as well. Also, it happens that they are the dissenting voice can be based on primordial identities like caste, religion, language, region. So it has its fallout as well. Now, what is the characteristic? How it has changed the discourse? Now the reach has become amplified. First, the protest may happen nationwide at max, like the protest which happened during 1975, during the emergency days. It can be said that maximum it could have happened nationwide without social media. Now the reach has become amplified. It can happen at a global level. It can happen at a much higher level because the society has been networked. The network society is facilitating to have an amplified reach. The first thing is this, how this has changed the discourse of the protest. The second thing is quick mobilization. First, to mobilize people, to make them understand, Gandhiji used to conduct a lots of marches, lots of pamphlets used to be distributed. So many leagues and societies were formed at that time to mobilize people. Now you can mobilize in just 24 hours. Just circulate the information with some hashtag activism. So things can things can move at a very fast pace. Whether it was anti-CAA movement mobilization happened maximum through social media. Okay, demonstrating the power of digital platforms in rapidly assembling large group of protesters in Delhi, and that they were mobilized through social media. The third thing is they are democratizing potential. Now, digital platforms have democratized things, allowing voices from the even the fringes, even the minorities, even the Dalits, LGBTQ. Everyone has gained a voice to raise it and talk about things which are impacting them. The fourth thing is global solidarity, as I had told you, for like environmental activism, Greta Thunberg, all of these, the movement against the coal plants, all of these are happening at a global level, or Me Too movement. This happened at a global level, global solidarity, or the voice against racism. So all of these, like the death of George Floyd, it raised a kind of global solidarity, or the people of Palestine, all of these raised a kind of global solidarity. And this happened because of social media. And this has been highlighted by one of the thinker, Sidney Tarot. His work on transnational social movement explains such phenomena. You had to mention this name. The next thing is innovative activism. The activism like destroying oil paintings. This has also happened as part of protest in Europe. These kind of innovative activism is happening through social media. Okay, an example is the also the online art and meme culture during the Jawaharlal Nehru protest, JNU protest. Also, social media acts as evidences and counter state or media narratives. For instance, video during the Delhi riots shared on social media countered the mainstream narratives. It also helps to mobilize youth. So, whether it is Greta Thunberg or having a kind of social momentum, or whether it is the protest against the devastating event that happened in Old Rajendra Nagar, everything is happening through this social media. So it has introduced a kind of innovative activism. A meme culture has developed. Now there are lots of criticism as well of this social media protest. The first thing is it dies out very fast. It rises very at a massive level in a very quick time. It goes also in a very quick time. You can see the social media rage for 7 days, 10 days, 12 days. Everyone will be posting about it. After 12 days, nobody is caring about that. And when you were protesting in social media, so it is not directly impacting the state. You are not on the streets. You are not directly confronting the state actors. So the impact is not on the ground. And when it is not persistent, then most of the time it fails to reach its final goal. The first criticism is this. Second is lack of surface level engagement. The term is clicktivism. Clicktivism doesn't guarantee substantial offline actions. Many trending hashtags in India doesn't necessarily culminated in on-ground mobilization. This is one of the biggest criticism of social media-led protest. Second is state surveillance. Social media facilitates monitoring and suppression by the state also. Activists have been arrested in India based on online activities like in the Sharavi case. So there are lots of such cases. State is trying to muzzle the voices as well. There is also lots of spread of fake narratives just to garner the followers, and lots of things you will hear. Even in the Kolkata case, there were everyday new kinds of stories were peddled by people without having any evidences, just to gain followers, just to have social media farming. This is also a term which can utilize in paper. Utilizing of sociological terms will give you more and more marks. Remember this. Okay. The another thing is echo chamber effect. So social media protest risk creating polarized view. Some people are extremely critical of the present government at national level. Some people are extreme fans of the present government. Where are neutral people? Where are neutral media? There is no neutral media in the present times. Both the trends are extremely polarized because there is an echo chamber effect. We are watching some video on something which is against the police. You will get more and more videos on that. Your ideology will become extremely hardcore, rigid, orthodox. Okay, misinformation, fake news. A fake news can instill a kind of protest that can endanger the normal life of people also. So this can happen as well. This is one of the criticism of social media led protest, the dissemination of fake news at a very fast rate. So these are the critical angles which you need to mention. There can be targeted harassment as well through social media protest. There was example of Gurmeher Kaur, Indian student activist, faced massive online trolling and threats. There was a person who faced social media trial called as Dilli Ka Darinda by famous news channels and social media, and he came out as someone who was not, who did not commit any crime, but he was named, shamed, and trolled heavily. This is one of the criticism. The digital divide, the rural voices, the marginalized voices, they are not coming to the surface. The biggest criticism of feminist movement in India was that they are not taking up the voices of the rural women. They are fighting for the basic things. They do not have the basic rights. When they are raped, when they are there is acid attack, they are not even allowed to reach police stations. And then there were international movements which were not which were talking about higher things, which were relevant more for the Europe. So this was one of the biggest criticism of the feminist movements in India, which you need to write even in the feminist movements. And this has now further created a divide. Further, the divide has enhanced. Now, the social media-led protests often remain unheard in the rural grounds. Their issues, their things are not raised. So further, they are being marginalized. The future of social media protest, it will be relevant. The amplified voices will be relevant, but we need to counter the fake news. We need to counter the echo chamber effect. We need to make a society which is inclusive. If we make such small blocks in our mind, where the mind is not free, where the head is not held high, as said by Rabindranath Tagore, the society is not peaceful. The society will not rise, that there will not be any inclusivity, fraternity, scientific temper. We need to have this breaking of echo chamber. Protesters will need to balance online activism with offline action as well to create meaningful changes. Both are needed hand in hand. Social media protests cannot change everything on ground, and this one needs to understand. So this was the lecture. I hope this was helpful for you. Take care. Best wishes.